Oh, they actually have an English here? I didn't even notice that the last time.
Ooh. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Ooh, translate. No, it's not for article. Okay, so Rabti here. Minay Birchas Chasanim min Torah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nema Vayivarchu es Rivka. Okay, I don't think this is in the. I remember this from the Bavli, but I assume it's there because that is makes sense. I think though, if I recall correctly, the other limit is from Rus, because by Rivka it wasn't really Birchas Chasanim because it was way before she was married, right?
Right, it was in there sending her off.
Sending her off. But by Rus, I think that when they got together, they gave her bracha. They gave bracha when she came married to Boaz, and that actually was at the time of the marriage. So if I recall correctly, that the Makar which is given the Gemara is from Rus and Boaz.
Okay.
So the Rabbi Chaim deals with at least part of this. He says Africa doesn't erusin who, even though there was erusin, right? At best, it wasn't. There's no chuppah without the chosin, so at best it was erusin that Eliezer would give Besuel or after Besuel's death, perhaps Lavan, the money for erusin. But anyway, it's a smachta. So what the heck? Why not put it out from there, right?
Right.
Okay. So it says more media because barchua. To give her bracha the kites. Smachtu. Right? It says from here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a bracha in Gan Eden. El me'ata chayos t'chsib Baruch Hashem Elokim. Wait a minute. So if it's the brachas, if it's just because it's Hashem the brachas, why do you do the bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to the animals, right? Rabbi Chaim learns it. Well, actually, let's read the first. Let's read all that. Media because of low and because Chasan Miller coins. Because I was only on the cup. What's the media because there was no cup over there. I know there was no cup. You know, throwing up, I love it in Besul's table. There were plenty of cups of wine. Perhaps al derech tachos, not be taken literally, but since almost a mechanic called Tokulat Shalonitna, so if Eliezer wouldn't drink the wine of Lavan and Besuel, because it certainly was a chashash about Zara by it, right? So therefore, there must not have been a kos. Okay, maybe that's why how we know there's no kos. So the Gam Pasha Kra, I was master. The Gam Pasha Kra lo mashad mari b'chas erusin chasanim. Of course, the Pasha Pshan Pasuk is not talking about the bracha of erusin chasanim. Okay, actually, kosher bracha. After we use the chayes to see bracha, some came by. About a bracha ba'ama. It's a generic bracha. Wasn't a bracha for for a marriage.
For marriage.
The name of Adam came, so maybe it's a generic bracha. My name alone, Birchas Chasanim, but bracha. Who says the Birchas Chasanim? So when I answer them, we shouldn't see baby Hashem came, but Tana. She came Karchayam Karim Kulisa Ben Yasa. So it says by even Hashem came as a son of Gomer Karim Kulisa Ben Yasa. Shekila Kashbark Chava. He braided Chava. The Kishta and adorned her. But racist Rabbi Kashbark Makashi Kalos. Hashem adorns Kalos. I'm not sure which Kalos get adorned by Hashem besides Chava, but I guess it means that Kashbark Hu commanded that, or directed that Kalos should be decorated. See, but even Hashem came as a son. And it says Shekayim Korchayim Koyim Yasa Ben Yasa. Shekila upokeses Mechayva Mishum Boina. I'm not sure how pokeses got in here because
what does pokeset mean?
Makeup.
Okay.
Makeup, but kila is braiding and Yuchai because the Boina. The same with the high crop Yavel Adam. She brought it to men. Kosh Baruch Hu served as the best man for Adam Arishon. Came to be a Kosh Baruch Hu chuppah The Baruch Hu braided her hair and brought it to chuppah. V'adei bracha. He must have give a bracha as well. Shnei rabbanim. I'm sorry. V'adei bracha. Shnei rabbanim birchas chasanim avoid. So the bracha there must be a birchas chasanim. Okay, it's still no more than a smach, but
Right.
different asmach. Right. So now I feel I'm on it. Bracha. I don't know my mother. Oh, so he says Shnei rabbanim boaz asur nashi. So here the Gemara is saying, yeah, that's I mean, we could have learned out from Boaz to begin with. But I guess going on to say we can know Basula from elsewhere. But and Amana we know from Boaz.
Okay. Scroll the page.
What?
Scroll the screen. Right. Yeah, we're on that one.
Okay. Shnei Yikach Boaz asur nashi v'si b'makam asher b'shar v'as kedim edim v'yitei Hashem b'gomer. So it says the Bior of Ruth Avgav Lavamona Avlik Shanisis Lamachla, even though she wasn't a widow, because she, I was sorry, Ruth Avgav Lavamona Avlik Shanisis Lamachla Nachrisaisa, because then she married Machla and she wasn't Jewish, came into Bulai, so since she already had relations, Kamona Koshi, her status like an Amona. So it's made of the Amona. Now which required to learn that even by Amona make a bracha, just like Amona doesn't have sheva brachas, right? Because there's not the same type of simcha as there is by Psula. So therefore, we need the source to say that even that first sheva brachas, the birchas chasanim, also applies by an Amona. Okay. So that's what we need to have that limud from Ruth and Boaz. Okay, so. Even if on both sides it's a second marriage, not even a second marriage, but both sides already had. The truth is, it's different for a man and for a woman. And a man, even if it's only if he was married already, doesn't have sheva brachas. If he had relations, it doesn't impede him from having sheva brachas. So by woman, even if she had just relations, the pasha is she doesn't have sheva brachas. So, but
is that the psak?
I believe so. They don't get Shiva Simei Mishnah. Yeah, I believe so. I might be wrong about that. Maybe by women it's also only they're married before. 1 second. I have a book here on sheva brachas, but I don't find it right away. I'm not going to look for it. It's a bright red binding, so usually it sticks out. It's easy for me to find. I don't see it right now. Maybe it's not here. Hold on. No. Okay, I don't see it right now, but could be I'm wrong. Maybe actually a woman who wasn't. I don't remember offhand if I'm correct or incorrect. As a woman who had it, but be as it may, maybe it says here. No. Of course, as he just said. Being a bula is the same like being a amana for a person sheva brachas. So you only get sheva brachas if he or she's a psula, or if the husband was never married before. Okay. So but that's the 7 days of sheva brachas. The birchas chasanim everybody gets.
Right.
First sheva brachas and the chuppah. That's the saying now, right? The shona feel amon shnasa amona. The Boaz Almon Hava, Boaz was an Almon, Trey Amru, if sons of Boaz, Kayil Shloshim Boaz, called Lisa Babasa, Sadko and Base. The Babasa says that he had 30 sons and 30 daughters, and they all died, as the Gemara says there. Then the Pasuk doesn't say that. The Pasuk just says that if had 30 sons and 30 daughters, as I'll say that they all died. But in any event, he was married. Lisa Babasa, Sadko and Base. Mishum the Brayetut finding the Baruch Lamana. You could say so, but a kid who's getting married, a boy who's getting married for the first time, was marrying a widow. And by the Mikra the Maisei, that's what we say here, that even in a case where a widower married a widow, you make the bracha. Okay. So he says here, let's go back to Gemara. Shmana mafil almon shnas amon barch mesrei avakash mamed barchin bebach shnas besula ubach shnas amona v'amona shnas besula avo almin amona lo. Right, the bach married a besula, a bach married amona, and almon marries a besula, but not a widower with a widow, not a widow with a widower with a widow. No, it's the Mashiva Yomim. That's the 7 days. Brachas Chasayim, there is. There's the 7 days of Sheh Brachas.
Okay.
Asam Lav Dein Mevariko, Ikar Kama. So I don't make a bracha at all. Ella, Shiva Yomim Ein Mevariko. 7 days don't make a bracha. But if you should Simcha Kokach. So Simcha Yom Rishon, Abba Mana Mevarech. By the first day, even by a Mana, make a bracha. Okay, says the Brayso, Kala came and Shiva Yom Rishon, Asur Bala Kol Shiva. Now, this is interesting because this is not the din in the Gemara itself. Gemara itself, Dam Besulim, doesn't make her awesome, right? But later on, Chazal came and told us that no, even Dam Besulim makes her awesome to her husband. Okay, so Divrei, Rabbi Eliezer, Shuamer Tibadek, Hadabar. Check. You must say Nida, Babais, Asura. I think it means if she was Nida before she got if she already saw blood of Nida before she got married in her own house, then Dam Sulim asks her as well. If never saw, so if the person sees blood in her life, we assume it's Dam Sulim and she's not a Surah. Okay, it says the Chaim, Bryce,
the English.
What?
The English says if she was Nida, also in her father's house. So that means, well, yeah, before she got married. Yeah. That means if she was Nida at the time of the marriage or Nida?
No. If she ever saw, we're talking about girls got married at the age of 12. So it means if she had started menstruation before she got married, then the Dam Sulim Asur, because maybe it's menstrual blood. Okay. And otherwise, she wouldn't be awesome. So it says the Chaim Kanievsky Gemara time of Shlorosa Shemar Satipas Dam Kechardo. This even she doesn't see any blood. The truth is that the Mishnah is Bryce about I didn't chop that. Bryce about even when she doesn't see any blood at all. She's still us because we're afraid that maybe she saw Tipas Dam Kechardo, the blood inside the mustard, blood inside the mustard seed. The lawyer dog, and she's not aware because his semen covered up. The Kali was basically here's Mali Rose my daughter about a Kali who's 12 years old, whose time has come to see.
Okay.
Says the Gemara. No, first more beer. Imoisa neither baby so Imrosa Kfar Beis Abiyah, who the Chayshinon were afraid Shema Rosa so that maybe she saw a Tipas Dam Kechardo. Again, even without Dam Sulim, why I explained it before, it's not about because of Dam Sulim. The Rabbi Chaim explains not because of Dam Sulim. Forget about Dam Sulim. The very fact that she once saw blood before, even if she doesn't see blood now, we're afraid that maybe it's Dam Nida. Maybe there is Dam Nida.
Okay.
We're afraid that maybe there's blood and she didn't see it. Okay. This, by the way, becomes particularly true about the older they get. Even if they are basulas, the less blood there is intact. So therefore, it's much harder to find. So even if you don't actually find it, there could have been blood there and just got covered up. So he says in Rav Shpargias Manavadain Lo Rasa Muteres Afilu Rasa Ashla Dam. And if she didn't have any menstrual blood before today, even now she sees blood, we don't assume it's blood of Tumah, we assume it's blood of Dam Basulim. Okay, so basically, there are two chashashas here. One is that the dam is not Dam Basulim but Dam Nida, and the other is that even she doesn't see any blood at all, maybe there was blood, but it was covered up, so she didn't distinguish it. Okay. Says Gemara, what's the matter? As it says, maybe he takes into account, maybe she saw blood and didn't know. Rabbi Yeshua Mesik Adaite, Rabbi Yeshua thinks, he's of the opinion, literally brings up in his mind, Efshar Lemivdak. Let her check it out. Check it out. So, according to Rabbi Eliezer, we wouldn't rely on her checking her own sheets, etc. Sure, we rely on her checking her own sheets. right? The Kama's mine. How much time does she get? If, like Rabbi Shua assumes it's dam psul, blood. So Rabbi Shua sholosh yomim, he gets 3 days. Says Bior, Kama's man, Imlora Sabesabia, Kama's on us, Shamash, Nila, but dam psul. So he gets 3 days in order to have tashmish. After that, she can no longer assume that's dam psulim. She continues bleeding. She has to assume that as reverted to dam nida.
Okay.
Okay. Bryce, the show tell me this every lesson. Malishtos, the Kala Kozman Chabala Mason. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Look at the beer.
The beer Malishtos. Oh, I have to go down in the says the Malishtos Galika Hakos Miyada. She came derech or derech shvabais mechayk orchim. Okay, evidently there was some minhag that the Kala used to distribute the wine by the chaska. Cause much about a mason. So it says be the il shalom ne bala pshita the also. We're afraid if her husband's not there, you're not allowed to take a cup from the woman because you might come to have lustful thoughts. But as long as her husband is there, you're okay. Says Rabbi Chaim, the ilu shalom ne bala pshita the also. Cause much about a mason we boil she'ain lachut shabil over the hero. As long as her husband's there, I guess we're not so concerned that he's going to come to think of Averos. So Amar Lahem, so that's what I guess that's it. Malishlos could be Kala cause much about the Mason. So let's say Amar Lahem, Kol HaShaisa B'Kala Kilu Shaisa B'Zoino. Doesn't matter if the husband is there. You're allowed to accept wine from the hands of the Kala. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this is not anywhere in the Gemara. Anywhere, right? This is brand new for me. They still have their cheretz, right? Says the Rabbi Chaim. Yes, that's in Plutos. This is a custom. What are you talking about? Why is it this? They're not Plutos. Just a minute to take from the kosher bracha from the kala. So chas v'sholin kol shein ater beres apib ebo derech eretz. This is people don't have Torah, don't have derech eretz. So Chaim teaches this. He explains it very harshly here. Kol shein bo Torah ebo derech eretz. V'ani noshim nami einon oitzis b'Torah v'chayshin lebritzu. So
wow.
We're not involved in Torah, and therefore we become confused. I don't know. It doesn't do the men much good to be involved in Torah that I can see that makes them holier than the women. But as Rabbi Lezer Shita, Hichus Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah. Tonight I assume it's Rabbi Lezer ben Horkus. I assume it was. That's Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah. Hichus Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah be'arba mil shofros. They were 400 shofros. Kol makabel kos me'akala ein lo mechila lo. Wow. Okay. Okay, so says the Gemara. Obviously, Rabbanan must argue. Presumably, since the Talmudim asked Rabbi Lezer this question, must be that Rabbanan argue on this. So Rabbanan said, "We can't about time b'chacham min hagad avur tafsa." There's no time b'chacham. So she's doing what was evidently she was stored in her father's house. And because she's a daughter of Chaim Chacham, she's doing it for pizzas. That's what he says in the beer here. Rabbi Lezer came about Chaim Chacham. Rabbanan b'bas Chaim Chacham sholu. Rabbanan Rabbi Lezer asked about Chaim Chacham. I got the inner Torah beres api and shol noshim, even though women do not learn Torah. Bas Chaim Chacham mihagad avot tafsa ve'en l'chush lepritzas. Because we should learn from her father's house, and therefore there shouldn't be an issue of pizzas. Back to the Gemara. Rabbi Lezer melchol olam. Isha Kabbalah. Time my Isha Chatzos in the Sultan B'Chacham. Like the kosher lo kasher shel tefillin. So this is actually brought down in a little more elaborately. Oh no, in the same in the Bavli somewhere. It says Okay, again, my sister says in the Sultan Mechorah Beisel Koshes Kesher Lo Kesher Shel Tefillah Yod. She's married to Mechorah and she tied the tefillah on his arm. Meis Mechorah mustn't die. This is the Moiches, and she married a tax collector. She tied his tax collecting seal on his hand. Basically saying women can't be trusted. They don't go. They follow their outside influence of their husbands. They can't rely on them intrinsically. She's the basta. Okay, so it's,
Okay.
you have to go.
Yeah, I need to go. So we'll pick this up next week.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So I hope we'll have more time.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Shkoyach.
Take care. Next week Sunday I can't learn. If you want to buy
All right.
Monday.
Oh,
I can
right.
Monday. If you have
All right,
time,
so-
if you have time, we're doing Chomai.
Okay, so we'll be in touch.
Okay. Chag Kosher
Bye.
Sameach.
Chag Kosher Sameach. Bye.